Joining me now, fresh off his round one KO victory at UFC Kansas City over Cameron Simon. It is the machine himself, Malcolm Wellmaker, on the show. Malcolm, man, I think there's a lot of people that are so excited about you as a prospect that really could climb the ranks and maybe fight for a title one day. One fight into the UFC, you got the win, you got the bonus. Life is good. How you feeling right now?
Still feeling like I'm in a dream, man. It's all so much, man. This was everything I wanted and more. It's incredible.
Now, you hear a lot of people talk about like the Octagon Jitters, right? Like you've been fighting at a high level and you've won at Contender Series. Tell me like how different was it, when you're backstage before you made the walk? Did it feel any more nerve-wracking than what you've experienced before?
I really don't know why. There's a couple reasons why I think, but to be honest, this was the least amount of nerves I've had for any of my fights ever, and it was crazy to me. I was a little bit nervous for my Contender Series fights, but definitely I remember earlier in my career on my local scene, amateur and pro, being way more nervous. And man, this fight, man, I just had some type of peace and confidence, and I didn't feel nervous or jitters at all.
What about like the adrenaline when you were in there? Like, did you feel like more locked in on just like the job at hand? Did that feel a little, unique to you?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I felt very focused, man. It was definitely like a tunnel vision kind of thing. I could hear my corners really well. I could see everything. It was like everything was moving in slow motion. I mean, maybe I'm just leveling up. I don't know what it is, man.
And that right hook of yours, my goodness, that's two in a row, both in the first round. Is that your most dangerous weapon in your arsenal, or is there something else we got to be on the lookout for?
Um, to be honest, I do think it is, man. I think it's my right hand in general. I throw it from orthodox, I throw it from southpaw. Sometimes I throw it like an overhand, and a lot of times, I throw it like a hook. And yeah, man, when it connects, it gets a real reaction.
That's clear, man. You did say that you thought Simon was going to grapple. Just when you looked at the fight before going in, like, did you expect this to maybe go a little bit longer than you did, or were you kind of surprised with how quickly you kind of found his off button?
Yeah, man. A lot of people asked me, when I thought it would happen. I knew I was gonna knock him out, but I was thinking second round because I fully expected to have to wrestle or grapple for at least a round, and find that rhythm. But he never even level changed, man, and I think that's why it happened so quick.
What was the energy like in the venue, the fan support afterwards? Like, tell me what that was like.
Listen, man, they made me feel like a superstar. I mean, from the time I walked out, they were already cheering for me, which surprised me, So that gave me a lot of excitement to fight. And then, the reactions during the fight, after the knockout, when I was going to the locker room, man, the everybody was acting crazy. I was like taking pictures with people and slapping hands, and it was I didn't even think about those things when I thought about what it would be like to fight for the UFC, walking past the tunnel of the fans, and it was so much love, man. I really feel like they love me.
What was the post fight celebration like? Like, what food did you get into? Like, what was the night like?
Man, look, we kept it tight knit. Me and all the people that came to see me went back to my hotel, and my management bought us all pizza, and we hung out for an hour or two and just relived the night, man. It was great.
What did you think of just the fights after yours and just the main event? Like, it was a pretty good card all in all.
Yeah, no, the card was a banger. I was extremely excited about the card, especially when I found out that Ian Gary and Carlos Prates were going to be the main event. So it was finishes after finishes, on the early side of it, big names, Michelle Pereira, Giga Chikadze, so many great fighters, man. And we got back to the venue and enjoyed the rest of the night. I had a really good time.
How good did you feel about thinking, okay, I did enough maybe to get that performance of the night bonus, which you did? Like, what was that feeling like when you finally got the news? And what are you going to do with that money? You just kind of setting it aside? Because I know you did make the announcement you officially quit your job.
That's right. Yeah. So my manager called me as soon as the last fight wrapped up. I was getting ready to ease out the place, and my manager called me. I was getting bombarded with fans, and he was like, "Hey, man, we got it." And I remember, like, I grabbed my coach by his hood and I snatched him, and I was like, "Ah, we did it!" And he was like, "What we did? What?" And I told him, and it was incredible, man. And Honestly, I don't really have anything I plan on spending it on. I really just want to be able to make sure my bills are paid, and maximize my training. Starting to fill those extra time slots that I have now, with the appropriate trainer to be the best athlete I can be.
Well, that's super interesting to me because I thought you were younger than you actually are. You're 30, which isn't
Yeah.
a bad thing. Like, I think it's
Mhm.
interesting because you see a lot of guys that want to rush it into the UFC and maybe get there sooner than they're ready, right? Like, do you feel like
Mhm.
now with you being, I mean, you're on a 15 fight win streak. If you go back to you as an amateur,
That's right.
undefeated as a pro, do you think like right now, like it's just the perfect storm, the perfect timing for you? And now it's just going to be leveling up, getting better, and like the best version is clearly still in your future.
Absolutely, man. With where I'm at as a man in my life, I'm very, very happy with the fact that I won't have to worry about so many distractions outside of my mission. All the people around me are understanding of my mission, what I've been going for the past, years of my life and currently. I feel like fighting is such a mental game, training is such a mental game, and just where I am with my maturity, man, my coaches can really get the most out of me, and I can get the most out of those situations. I feel like the stars are aligning for me. I know it's not the most typical story of having success in the MMA scene, but for me, it's good for me, and I'm happy that I'm here right now.
And this might be an obvious answer, but like with you quitting your job and just focusing full time on fighting, I mean, how much better can you get? Like, right? Like, is there a certain area where you're like, okay, I need to spend more time doing this to kind of get to where I need to be collectively? Like, what's your mindset on that?
Yeah, man. Like, I really look at what I accomplished so far, and I look back at my training regimen. I had one day to lift a week, and every other day was technique or jujitsu or conditioning. Like, just knowing that I'll have days to have separate lifting, goals, having days to have, privates for actual technique catered to me instead of just one day or 2 days a week. Man, I can't imagine how good I'm going to be able to get and how fast I'm going to be able to get. So it's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be great. I'm excited.
What's the weight cut like typically like for you to make bantamweight? And have you considered wanting to fight at other weight classes? My first time interviewing you, so I'm curious your thought
Yeah,
process as far as weight cuts and weight classes.
yeah. To be honest, the 35 division is a really happy spot for me. I usually can diet down to like the low 50s and cut from there. And honestly, this week when I had access to the nutritionist from the PI, they gave me some food and they gave me some plans. And this cut, it went way better than all my previous cuts. Like it was like eye opening to like some things I could do to really change how well my cuts are gonna go. So I'm really excited about being able to stay in this division and get even stronger, and still have better weight cuts. So yeah, 35 is the happy place for me. I don't plan on going nowhere.
Okay, I like it. Diet typically, like, is there certain foods that you really try and stick to when you're in camp, trying to stay where you need to be weight wise?
Yeah, for me, I was working in construction, so like meal prep and all that stuff like that. But it was simple, bro. I'd buy these turkey sausage, egg, not egg rolls, turkey sausage burritos for breakfast, and then I'd buy rotisserie chicken and I'd rip half of it up and put it in a container and take that to lunch. You know what I mean? And then I come home for my training snack, and I'm eating like crackers or something light, some light carbs or something before training, and afterwards me and my old lady find something nice and clean for dinner. So it was a pretty simple plan, man. Nothing extravagant, but even thinking about that, like how much room for improvement do I have with nutrition now? It's just gonna be, I'm gonna be so much better. I know I am, man. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of, put the rest of the division on notice a little bit. Like, hey, there's a new player in town now.
Yeah, no, I believe so. I think already people have maybe seen the highlight of my contender series knockout. They might have known a little bit about me, but not much. But with that performance, man, definitely anybody that knows, and anybody who didn't, they're definitely hearing about me.
What's your athletic background? Like, did you play other sports? When did you first start getting into combat sports?
Yeah, so to be honest, I have next to none, man. I grew up when I was really, really little. Like, I mean, elementary school, playing basketball. That was what I wanted to do. Me and my brothers, we love playing basketball. I even still like playing now. But that was the only sports I ever did. I never ran track. I never did wrestling, boxing, karate, anything like that. Until I met the gym I'm at now, the Faglers, and I didn't meet them until I was 22 years old. They taught me everything from a blank slate, and we got here pretty fast.
Yeah, no doubt about that. What were you like as a hooper? What kind of a player are you?
I was a bench warmer. Bro, I would look. It was little leagues, and my older brother, he was shorter than me, but like he was like the star, man. He used to have the braids like Allen Iverson. He used to have the swag. He used to always be scoring, and like I was not that good for whatever reason, man. So I remember always coming off the bench, enjoying playing, but not being that great. And then later in life, just casually playing all the time with my friends, I got a whole lot better. But I'm all right. I like to drive to the hoop. I like to slash a little bit, pull up jumpers mid range, and if I'm open, I'll shoot a 3-point shot. But I'm
Okay.
not exceptional at all, man. I casually play and have a good time, man.
Okay, I like it. I mean, basketball was my first love. I played my whole life. I played in college for a couple
Okay.
of years, so
Oh, okay.
I love basketball, and it was devastating when I had to realize that okay, I reached the level I could be at, and there's
Oh
no
yeah.
NBA dreams in my future. Do you have a team? Like, is there someone like a player or a team that you follow a lot?
Not to be honest, I used to watch a lot of basketball back in like high school and right after high school. But when I started fighting, I basically started watching nothing but boxing and
Okay,
MMA. So outside of like highlights and stuff like that, like I really, really love Kyrie Irving, man. He is just a magician with the basketball, man. So I love watching his stuff. Obviously, Steph. I like the point guards, man,
Mhm.
and those are the ones I admire. But now all I watch is fighting. That's it. Combat
Understood.
sports.
Yeah, I mean, Steph Curry, greatest shooter of all time. Kyrie Handle, probably the
Oh my
best ball
goodness.
handler of all time, right?
Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
when you were younger and you were thinking about maybe getting into mixed martial arts, like is there a striker, someone that maybe you idolize that you're like, man, I wish I could be like him one day? Is it
Mhm.
someone like a Anderson Silva, or like tell me your thought process when you look at guys that you feel like maybe you're cut from the same cloth from?
Yeah, so to be honest, I had never watched a UFC fight in my life before I went to the gym. I have remember seeing like John Jones highlights. I saw Anderson Silva highlights, and I knew who Kimbo Slice was and Jorge Masvidal, but that was literally it. And when I got into the sport, I remember I was like a month into training, and everybody at the gym was talking about Conor McGrego, Conor McGregor. I said, "Who is Conor McGregor?" And my coach was like, "You don't know who Conor is?" And like, he goes on this rant telling me how he's like changing the game and like the biggest star. And that night, I went and watched one of his fights, and I fell in love with what Conor was doing. This was around 2018. And yeah, Conor McGregor, I remember watching every single one of his fights, just studying them and admiring everything he did in that cage. And I think he influenced a ton of what I do now.
So what do you think of Connor now? Like, do you think he's going to fight again? Has your opinion changed? Obviously, there's so much that's transpired over the years. I used to be a huge Connor fan. I'm not saying that I'm not anymore, but I'm not as
Yeah,
big of a fan now as I was when he first got in because it was all about like fighting and the way he
correct.
would hype the fights. It was just
Yep.
like nothing we'd ever seen. And now, like with all the outside of the cage stuff, I feel like it's kind of affected a lot of people's opinions on him. Like, can you elaborate yours? Has it changed at all?
Yeah. Yeah, I think for all of us, when we look back at Conor in his prime, when he was like two-time champ before he fought Floyd, that's when he has all of our hearts, when everything that he did, was just so magical and what we admire about him. And even after the Floyd fight, I still was a huge, huge fan of him. But after the layoff, after the time off, and kind of like all the shenanigans and stuff he kind of got involved in, it definitely was a lot harder to love him as much. So him today, I definitely don't admire as much as I used to. But that era of his life
Yeah.
where he did all that greatness is still just as impactful for me now. I watched him fight Marcus Brimage 100 times before I made my UFC debut.
Yeah. Oh, that's that man. That's a blast from the past right there, right?
Oh
I
yeah.
can't believe how fast time goes. It's crazy, my man. When you look at the bantamweight division today, obviously, I mean, a lot of people say that it's as stacked and as deep as any division in the UFC. The top of the division right now, Merab and O'Malley are rematched. Do you see that
Mhm.
fight going any different? Do you think Merab will beat him again, or do you think we're gonna have O'Malley being the champion again?
I think I had similar thoughts for the first fight, but I think for the second fight, Sean O'Malley definitely has a higher chance to land the right shot. I mean, because he has so much to work with, so much to go back on his experience and improve on. And plus, we're expecting to better him that's uninjured. So I think the likelihood of him landing that magical shot is a little bit higher. But man, Merab is just so good at what he does. So I see it going the same way, with a slightly higher chance of, Sean shocking the world again and becoming the champ.
It's going to be interesting. I'm really excited for that one. This coming weekend, you got Corey Sandhagen and Davison Figueiredo as the main event, and analyze that one for me.
First of all, Figgy been coming to my division and shaking it up too much. I don't like it. Somebody need to put him in his place and let him know the 35 is a legit. So I'm excited to see Corey Sandhagen fight. I love Corey. He's an absolute brilliant mind when it comes to striking, man. He just breaks things down to another degree that not a lot of people think of, and I love watching him perform. So I got Corey winning it, man. I think he's going to be able to break down Figgy. I think he's going to be able to have his way and dance for the most part. And even if it does end up in some wrestling exchanges, I think he's already proved to us all that he can wrestle with the best of them. So I'm very excited to watch that fight.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm excited to see you back in there next. And I know you said that you wanted to fight on the UFC Atlanta card, which I believe is in June.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know you just one fight into the UFC now, but like, is there anybody that you have your eyes on? I'm sure you're not going to be calling out people left and right, but like, is there someone that you think makes sense for your next fight?
Honestly, no, man. It's such a quick turnaround, and I imagine that the UFC is trying to make sure that I stay on this trajectory. So I'm gonna let them do their job, find the right guy for the fight in Atlanta, and I'm gonna do what I do. I'm gonna give y'all another highlight, and then hopefully down the line we can really make some superstar matchups and banger fights for y'all.
What do you think the energy in the arena is going to be like if you do get matched up on that UFC Atlanta card?
Oh my goodness, man! Like when I fought in Kansas City, when I walked out before I got the knockout, they were already cheering for me, and it was surprising. So to think in Atlanta, where I know there's going to be hundreds of people who know me personally, aside from the UFC fan base, oh my goodness, man, it's going to be electric, man. I really hope it comes together.
Yeah. So, and I understand too that you're originally from Augusta, Georgia, which is
Hmm.
where the Masters are held every
That's right.
year. It's a big deal if you're a golfing fan. What was it like for you to get a letter from? Was it the mayor that you got a letter
Yeah.
from? Tell me how that happened and what that meant to you and your family.
Yeah, man. So my management is a machine, man. Iridium, shout out to those guys. Jason House, Ed Cap does a ton for helping me get lined up with all my pushing these moments for me. And I didn't even know he was working on it. But one day he hit me up and he was like, "Hey man, the mayor got something for you. You need to go pick it up." And I was like, "Wait a minute, like the mayor?" He was like, "Yeah, the mayor of Augusta." And so, I go down to City Hall and they give me this letter, and he is like not just congratulating me, but like he's talking in detail about my fight, the career I've had leading up to it, and just like some very meaningful compliments from him. And it was just powerful, man. When I got that letter and I shared it, everybody in the city was just over the moon and happy for me. And I really feel like Augusta celebrates my success like the same way that I do.
That's very cool, man. Happy to hear all the success that you're having inside and outside of the cage.
Thank
I
you.
do understand too that you got a little one on the way, right?
Yeah, man, my baby is gonna drop anywhere from today and the next couple weeks. Like me and my old lady are literally just waiting on it to happen. It's exciting, it's scary. I don't know what I'm gonna do, bro, but it's coming, man. So any day now, I'll be a full-time father as well as a full-time fighter.
Congratulations. Do you know, is it a boy or girl yet?
It's a boy.
You got a name picked out?
Walla. His name's gonna be Walla.
Okay. I
Yep,
love it,
that's
man.
gonna be it, man. I can't wait.
That is fantastic. One last thing about UFC Atlanta. If you do get matched up on that card, do you have like a walkout song that you've picked out? Because if not, can I give you a suggestion? I'm curious what you think of it.
Um, I kind of got some ideas in mind. I fought in Atlanta quite a bit, coming up on the local scene, and anytime I fight like in the city of Atlanta, I try to, pick some bangers from an Atlanta artist. So I got some ideas. I'm excited about it, but what's up? I love suggestions.
Okay. I'm a big Ludacris fan, right?
Okay, okay,
So if you come out to Southern Hospitality and drop some bows
okay,
on them and get a win, I
okay.
don't think it could get much better than that.
Bro. I haven't heard that song in ages. But look, I'll put it in the memory bank, man. It'll be on the list.
I'm telling you, man, you come out to that place is gonna pop.
For sure, man. For sure. I'll keep it in mind, man.
Okay, sounds good. Malcolm, great chatting with you for the first time, my man. Before we do get out of here, I want to give you the floor. Anyone you want to thank, anything you want to plug, floor is yours.
Not anything in particular, man. Just thank you to my team, my family, my whole city, man. Just the support is huge. You know, the everything that's coming from that knockout is just so exciting, man. And I'm so glad to be able to share it with everybody that's been here for me. So hopefully Atlanta happens and we can do it again.